Hello everybody and welcome to Dark Souls 2 at Soul Level 1. If you've never played Dark Souls 2, I don't really blame you, but I'll explain why this is the hardest SL1 run out of every FromSoft game. In this game there's a stat called adaptability. This stat directly is connected to how many iframes you receive when you dodge. Meaning, since I'm at level 1, the whole run I cannot upgrade it. Meaning my rolls are so dog shit. So basically throughout the whole run, I'm going to be getting hit with every single attack in the whole game, unless I dodge at the perfect time to not get hit by anything. And fuck it, why not? I'm going to rate every single boss in the game as I fight them. Before we get in, let's just state the rules so there's no confusion. Rule number 1, my character cannot exceed Soul Level 1, and you can prove this by looking at the level in the stat menu. Rule number 2, no major glitches or mods. Rule number 3, no summons of any kind, offline or online. Just do the bosses solely by myself. I spawn in as the Deprived class because that is the Soul Level 1 class, only class that's level 1, and head straight to Majula, the hub of this game. Talk to the Firekeeper to get my Estus Flask and Estus Shard. Just before the next boss, I wanted to talk to this nice fella here to get his helmet. This guy's name is Kale, I think. And I'm killing him because he gives me a key, and his helmet gives me dexterity so I can use a weapon later on in the game. I don't have the footage for Last Giant or Pursuer. Don't know how that happened, I'm gonna be honest. I think it corrupted. So let's just go right to Dragon Rider. No issues at all. Literally just easy boss. I couldn't even do where he falls off the map. I fucked it up somehow. But anyways, Last Giant, C tier. Pursuer, B tier. And Dragon Rider, D tier. After Dragon Rider's killed, I go all the way to the beginning to get the Handmaid's Ladle, which gives you certain stat boosting gear that I will need later on. Now this is not just some ladle, it's a magical ladle that slightly boosts vitality and endurance by 1, but decreases dex by 1. So I won't be using it that long, but it'll help me until I get the rapier. After you kill Dragon Rider, there's an NPC up top. If you pay her 2,000 souls, she will open the gate to go to the next area. Or you can buy her miracles, and I think it does the exact same thing, but that's more money. Before Skeleton Lords, I wanted to buy the cat ring because we will be jumping a lot in this run, surprisingly. The next area to progress is the Huntsman's Copse, and I may or may not have gotten lost here for 20 minutes and definitely didn't get bent over sexual style. After getting lost for way too long, I finally found a lever that lowers the bridge so I can continue to get the next bonfire. After that, straight to the boss, which is Skeleton Lords. The Skeleton Lords are a pretty easy boss. You just kill in one of the big boys and they summon some skeletons. Skeletons don't have much health. 1 to 2 hits will take them out, and after a few minutes, it's done. In my opinion, I don't like Skeleton Lords that much, so they go in D tier. Right after Skeleton Lords is the new area where I talk to Chloanne. She will head to Majula after you talk to her, and she will hand you infinite upgrade materials. In the poison pool, there is 2 Titanite chunks. With those Titanite chunks, I can upgrade my weapon, my mace, to +6, and Covetous Demon Time. Now, this boss is not hard at all. He's one of the easiest bosses in the game. I did die to him, though. Very embarrassing, but we do get him on the second try. I mean, do I have to say much? He's a big-ass blob that just rolls around. F tier. Pretty much right after Covetous Demon is Mytha. You burn the windmill, and then you just go right in there. Now, this lady tries to give you head a few times, but other than that, she's pretty easy. Just go in, get a few smacks, hop out. For this game, though, she is a pretty quick boss, I will say. She does move around the arena a lot more than some of the other bosses in this game. This was a roadblock for me in this game. It took me about 10 tries, but after a few tries, denying her giving me head, she does go down. Also, Mytha, I'm pretty sure, is weak to strike damage, which the mace does do, so it's not a bad option, honestly. And I love Mytha, honestly. It's a good boss. I say A tier. In the Iron Keep, you can talk to this merchant here and spend 10,000 souls, and you will get the Gold Serpent Ring, which will be very useful later. Since I don't have to grab anything and I don't want XP, I don't need souls, I just go straight to Nachka. But holy shit, someone please take my gamer card away because I died to her like 20 times. Crazy ass fucking hitboxes just kept hitting me. So to combat this, I only attacked her when her stingers were down to get some free hits. And when she gets shy and burrows down into the ground, there's a huge piece of concrete on the floor that she physically cannot hit you from. I also wanted to talk about, I think the main reason why I've been losing these fights so much is the mace. I hate the mace. It has no range, and its moveset is terrible. It takes forever to swing, and it's the reason why I've been getting hit, I feel like, as I'm watching it back. Najka is a decent boss, nothing crazy though. I say B tier. I hope you got the items so far that you need to that boost item discovery, because it is time to farm for the peasant set. This is extremely important for this run because it gives a total of 6 dexterity, making it possible to use the rapier. One of, if not the best weapons in the entire game. I didn't even have the shield that boosts luck for this, but it still only took me about 15 minutes to get all 3 items for the set. So, because I can use the rapier now, I wanted to get it to max level. And to do that, I need a Titanite slab, and the quickest way to get that is a drop from the Congregation boss. Lucky for me, they are one of the easiest bosses in the whole game. It's like the joke to die to this boss. That's how easy it is. And I definitely did not fall into that joke by dying to the boss or anything. This boss is literally known for being so easy you can't die to it. F tier. After the boss that I definitely killed first try, there are some material upgrades that I want for later. So, walk out this door, ask this old man to step aside, and I grab 1 Titanite chunk, open this door to a totally not creepy room and find another Titanite chunk, walk into what I like to call the BDSM pit with a bunch of spikes, with 1 Titanite shard, 3 chunks, and a slab. In Majula, I buy a rapier from the blacksmith and fully max it out. Now, unfortunately, it's Iron Keep time. One of the most annoying areas in this whole game for me. At this time, I didn't want to fight the Smelter Demon because I didn't want to farm 12 deaths for every NPC in this game for them to despawn. I will talk about that later, by the way. I run past pretty much every enemy because they're very scary, and make my way to pull the 2 levers that lower the bridge. In Iron Keep, you can open a chest that has a life ring +1. If you like that, that's nice. I didn't even use it. After the next bonfire, I grab the DLC key, just so I don't forget. But before we can even get to the DLC, we need to kill the old Iron King. This boss is very, very simple. Run to the other side of the arena at the exit gate, and he physically cannot hit you unless he has a laser attack, or he goes under and teleports to you. If he does teleport, run to where he was, and he will come right back. And then bait out, and then run to the exit, bait out the laser move, and you're golden. Get some hits in. As you can see, the rapier absolutely melts. I'm telling you, the rapier is one of the best weapons in the entire game. It's fast, good damage, and if you buff it with magic damage, it does even more. And with little problem, old Iron King goes down within 5 tries or so. And that is our first Great Soul. The old Iron King is not that good of a boss. D tier. It's DLC time. We're here for the Dexterity Ring, which gives a boost of 5 points to the dex stat. That's the only thing we need in this DLC for now. We will be back later. Before the Rotten, if you go all the way to the very bottom and climb up a big ladder, there is a chest with a great club in it. We will be using that for a boss in the DLC later. Once you've entered the gutter area, right before the Rotten, you can drop down to the right of these big BBC things here and do some parkour to get down with these 2 giants. Go to the very end of that room and open a chest to get the Ring of Giants. It's not what we're here for, but it's nice to have if you want to use it. Now, I hope you have some poison arrows or bleed arrows for this, because we are going to kill both of these giants for a key that is used to enter the DLC. Back in Majula, if you buy the most expensive ladder, which is 12,000, I think, from Laddersmith Gilligan, then with this ladder, you go all the way down, climb a ladder back up, you'll have entered the DLC with the key that you killed with the giants. Anyways, after that detour, let's get back to the real reason we went down there. The Rotten. A very easy boss with some wacky grab hitboxes. For starters, the Rotten has like 6 moves at the most. He has a grab attack with a worst hitbox ever, a few slashings of his cleaver, he can vomit on you, and my favorite move, where he busts all over the arena. To be honest, the Rotten has nothing to really talk about. Just, dodge. I'm gonna be honest. He's not a good boss, though, either. He is a great soul, though, but not a good boss. I like the look of the Rotten, but he's overall just pretty forgettable. C tier. I had completely forgot how good Flinzering is for this, So I went to grab that real quick. Well, real quick isn't the word I would use. More like really long run just to get a ring. I can't tell you how many times I got lost in this DLC. It took me like an hour or an hour and a half just to find where this fucking ring was. And then I had to actually get there before dying. There's so many enemies here. But after a long while, I got the fucking ring. With this ring, I think I was a bit more confident to fight the Duke's dear Freya. Let's talk about her. The main problem in this fight is the mini spiders that attack you, not even her. So, to get rid of this problem, you bring a torch. This is the main reason why it's so important that we got the gear to one-hand the rapier. Like I said, the mini spiders are normally the main problem, so that means Freya is really easy now. All you do the whole time is hit one side of the head 2, 3, 4 times, and then rotate to the other head, and you get 2 to 3 hits, and repeat. I'm not a huge fan of Duke's dear Freya. I just think it's a bit of an annoying boss. Nothing really great about it, I'm gonna be honest. D tier. Once you hit her head hard enough, you can get your prize, a great soul. After I kill Freya, I go to High Tower of Flame and kill this guy for some sublime bone dust. In this direction of High Tower and Flame, it will lead you to the wharf. This is an area you're supposed to be in much earlier in the game, so we're a little over-prepared. Now, I don't need anything in this area. I just wanted to go through here to get to a place that I need for a great soul. So we beeline straight for the bell, bring the ship over, and get to the boss. Like I said, we're a bit overpowered for this part, so you're not supposed to have a plus 10 weapon, but here we are. Now watch the rapier just absolutely melt his health. After they die, we take over the boat and move on to our next destination. For DS2, this boss is actually pretty good, so it'll be pretty high on my tier list. I just like that it's double-sided, cool moveset. Interesting. B tier. The Lost Bastille at the end of this area is another great soul, the Lost Sinner. Again, with the plus 10 rapier, it's over before we even have a chance of dying. I feel like the Lost Sinner is one of the first great souls you're supposed to fight, but with the rapier, it's just no match. Early in this run, this boss would give you a really hard challenge because she has a bit of health and her terrible hitboxes when you have no ADP. Causing you to perfectly time dashes. If I were you, I didn't do this, but I would equip all of the ADP boosting gear that I have, just making this boss so much more easy. The Lost Sinner I feel like is a mechanical boss, dodging and strafing, more than a DPS output or, a gimmick fight. If anyone says the Lost Sinner is a bad boss fight, they are lying. This is one of the best bosses in the entire game. Top 3 boss in the whole game to me. S tier. So now we can get to Drangleic Castle because we have all 4 great souls. Just before getting there, I kill the Crystal Lizard for upgrade materials that we'll use later, and go straight to Twin Dragon Rider boss. These 2 guys are pretty easy. They're the same as the old Dragon Rider, but now there's 2 of them. The only annoying part of this fight is the guy standing up top shooting you. It's just pretty annoying when you're hitting one guy and you're getting back shots from another. All of their moves are really telegraphed, so just dodge into him and you won't get hit. Now, if I were smart, you would kill the other Dragon Rider with the arrow first because he has about a weak child's amount of health, so he dies really quick, especially with the plus 10 rapier. I mean, do I have to say much? It's just the Dragon Rider fight, but now there's 2 of them, but really 1.5 because one of them has 0 health. Fart on him and he dies. I mean, he's better than Dragon Rider, but not by much. C tier. I wanted to get another ring, and to get that we had to access the Frozen Ivory King DLC. The instant I join the DLC, I get told to leave, which isn't very nice, but I'll let it slide. After blindly going through this DLC, I found the Ring of the Embedded, which increases vigor, endurance, and vitality all by 7, but increases damage taken by 8.5, but this is not really a big detail because we are basically getting one shot by every boss anyway. Since I've never done the DLC before, I'm not very confident in doing them, so I'll do them later when I'm a bit stronger. So, it's time for Looking Glass Knight. In my opinion, a really easy boss. Just get some aromatic ooze, dodge through everything, spamming R1. He has like 4 moves along with every other Dark Souls 2 boss. The main threat of this boss is when he summons in his second phase. And if you're online, there's a chance for it to be a real person, which is pretty cool, but we can just skip all of that by spamming R1s when he's doing it and he just dies. The Looking Glass Knight is a very cool boss in my opinion. I think he looks cool. The online part is very cool to me, and I think he's A tier. With the Looking Looking Glass Knight dead, we go down the longest elevator you've ever been on, and then have to go all the way up because I forgot to open the chest like a silly idiot. And to be honest, the chest wasn't even fucking worth it. Just a bonfire aesthetic and a spell quartz ring that I'll never use. The very next area, Shrine of Armana, the worst place in the entire game. I know a lot of people like Ds2, but I know for a fact, 100%, that nobody likes the Shrine of Armana. This is the most tedious part of the run, probably in the entire game. I sat here for about 15 to 20 minutes sniping these mages with my bow. Now, dear viewer, if you are not familiar with Ds2 because you haven't played it, I don't blame you. These ladies in white will spam the hell out of you if you don't kill them. And since I'm level 1, I have like no health, and they kill me very quickly by their projectiles just stun locking me. So, taking it slow like this means sure that they can't shoot me and I can move freely to the next bonfire. And it's not like there's just 3 of these enemies, there's like 10, plus a troll, plus a guy with a big hammer, trying to end my life. Not to mention, I can't even use my bow and it's level 0, so it takes a minute. Should I have upgraded my bow to plus 10? Maybe. Did I? No. After that fuckery just happened, we go to the next bonfire. This is right before the boss, so nothing crazy can happen before the next boss, which is Demon of Song. The one annoying thing is there's a big thing that sprays orange juice at you, and this orange juice is not normal orange juice now. It breaks all of your equipment, rings, and armor, so I had to shoot him with my bow. But like, I do no damage, so I said fuck that and just said like George Washington said, and just fuck it, we ball and tank that shit. So now I'm in the Demon of Song boss room with broken rings and armor, making it a bit more hard, but still, Demon of Song is an easy boss, nothing to mention. This boss does follow the trend of Ds2 that it's an easy boss with fucked up hitboxes. I guess his arms are, twin tower length, so they just hit you no matter what. So I just took it real slow, only getting hits in when he comes in and out of his foreskin. Again, a lot of Ds2 bosses have like 5 moves in total, so it's pretty easy to learn if you're having trouble. If you want a tip, I say delay your rolls and roll to left or right side super late, so you basically end up to the side of him when you roll. And when he comes in and out, you can get 1 to 2 hits before he can even do an attack. Also, something I learned while doing this, you can hit his arms. I didn't actually know that. I thought the face was the only thing you could hit. With the arms being able to be hit, it's a little finicky, but it can help if you want to do a ranged battle. Like, you can just dodge backwards and then hit at arms, but it's a little hard to do, so I just roll back or roll to the very side and then just run in and hit his face. There is nothing fun about this boss. The arena before him is the worst. He's the worst. His foreskin sucks, and his terrible hitboxes make me angry. I hate this boss and regret it every time I start a Ds2 run. In the next area, the Catacombs, you can talk to Agdane, and he will sell you infinite dark arrows, which is pretty nice if you can use them. He sells 13 human effigies and 13 Elizabeth mushrooms, which heal you over time like a life gem, but much better. After buying out his entire stock, I play some Minecraft before getting to the next boss. To get to this boss, it's one of the most annoying run bugs ever created. I mean, they just decided to put every enemy in this one hallway just to fuck me. Anyways, at the end of this hallway is Velstat, the Royal Aegis. I think. This is one of the easiest bosses for me, to be honest. He is one of my favorites, though. This is one of the easiest bosses for me. So easy, in fact, I no-hit him on my winning try. I wasn't going for this at all, but it just happened. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but every Ds2 boss has the worst hitboxes ever. Every time I roll in this fight, I roll backwards to avoid these said hitboxes. Then walk up on them, get a few hits in, and rinse and repeat. The moves I'm looking for to bait out are the running slam, his big poke, or in his second phase transition where he gets on his knees for me. All 3 of these moves are big time wasters. He will just stand there, and you can get 3, 4, 5 hits in. He does a second phase transition where he ring-a-ding-ding-dongs, just beat the hell out of him, and you'll basically kill him before he can even do anything. I love Velstat. He's a pretty easy and simple boss. Nothing bad. A tier. After you kill Velstat, you can get a prize of a ring. I guess that's why Velstat was on his knees for me. With this ring, we can open up these big black doors to certain areas of the game to progress. In this castle, you can use a branch of yore to free 2 gentlemen. they will drop 2 bonfire aesthetics, 2 Elizabeth mushrooms respectfully. This means you can get an infinite bonfire aesthetic and Elizabeth mushrooms. I don't need them yet, but they will be very handy later on when I'm dying to bosses over and over again. For now, let's just head straight to Guardian Dragon. This time around, the boss we're fighting doesn't have fucked up stupid hitboxes. And this dragon, unlike another dragon, is pretty easy. Stand at his toes, give him 2 to 3 hits, go to the other foot. Give him a nice old manicure. Anytime he flies in the air, do a fire attack, run the opposite side of the arena. Because to be honest, a lot of projectiles in this game just don't make sense. I can't tell where they're going to end, so I just run away. And I can't tell how big the attack is, so I just hide like a little pussy. But like I said, easy boss, I did it on my first try. Does anyone even like Guardian Dragon? There's nothing going on with him. He's just some weird red dragon. Not good. D tier. Once you kill the dragon, you can enter their home. And for some reason, this lady's just standing here following us. How she got there? I don't know. But she does this a lot. She's a little creepy. But at least she gives us a feather. You see, this feather is like an infinite homeward bone, which takes you to the last bonfire you rested at. It's like a coiled sword in Dark Souls 3. As you can see, I'm having a very fun time with this game. Yeah, that shit did not just happen. What the fuck? Anyways, I ride down a zip line to get down to the bonfire. While in the area, I grab the 3rd dragon ring, since the first 2 are pretty dog shit, and I head straight to the big dragon to get the Ashen Mist Heart. And no, I will not be fighting him, because he's a dumb boss with too much health. That's all he is. You're not even supposed to fight him, I think. You see, with the Ashen Mist Heart, you can interact with these trees with giants attached to them, and go into a memory to kill the giant lord. This boss is pretty much the same as the first boss in the game, the last giant, but he has a sword this time. But before we can even fight him, we have to maneuver through fireballs, giants. So just to go to the exact same spot that I do, so the fireball can't hit you, and once it hits the floor, run right into him to start the boss fight. This boss has some funky hitboxes again. This boss has some of the worst hitboxes I've ever had the displeasure of witnessing. I think it's one of the worst hitboxes in the entire game. So, I like to stick to his feet, dancing around, getting 2 to 3 hits in, seeing what he does, and then deciding what to do. When you're at his feet like this, most of the time he will do a foot slam. Or, if you're behind him or to his left side, he will do a slash with a sword. Pretty hard to see, but easy to dodge if you just strafe out the way. Old Giant Lord is a cool looking boss. It is better than the last giant, but not by much, and its hitboxes knock it down a point or 2. B tier. Yet again, it's DLC time. Wow. And yet again, it's DLC time, but we're actually fighting the bosses. So I grab a bonfire, realize I forgot to key to the bridge, so I had to run all the way back, and for some reason I fought this clown for 10 minutes. I don't even know why. If you go into the room with the spiky floor, there's a chest in it with a dragonstone key that you can put in a oversized dinner plate to raise a massive bridge. You know, a normal Tuesday afternoon. I hope you have the cat ring equipped because we're doing some parkour, baby. Once I got down there, I actually had to find a hidden bonfire that's behind a illusionary wall that I found on Reddit. Now, since I've never actually done the DLC, I didn't know where it was, just a story of it. So I legit rammed my head into every single wall in the building trying to find it. I am so serious when I say I spent 15 minutes trying to find this wall. I was starting to think I got lied to, and this thing isn't even real. And yes, I did find it though. But I know for a fact I ran into this part of the wall multiple times. So I don't know what I did different, but it's okay. At the end of this area is Elana, the Squalid Queen. Oh boy. This boss takes the cake for 2nd place with most amount of deaths and time went into killing her. Let's just get right into it. The second you walk into the boss, full sprint into her and spam R1s while she's standing there talking to you. Now, you see, Elana herself is super easy. Her attacks are easily dodgeable, but the real boss is the summon she has. You see, Elana has 3 different types of summons she can do during the fight. You see, Elana has 3 different types of summons. Skeletons, Verstat that we killed earlier, and pigs, I think. Yeah, pigs. With Verstat easily being the worst. The 2 others aren't even bad. Just annoying when you combine them with Elana spamming magic at you the whole time. So if I got Verstat, I pretty much knew it was going to be GG and gave up. Every single death was from her summoning something and hitting me with magic. Voice crack. Or I couldn't even get into the boss because I died from fall damage because I'm fucking stupid. That happened like 10 times, by the way. What you're watching now was about 4 hours into fighting her, so it's safe to say I was losing it. After about a whole day of work, she goes down in about 6 hours. If Elena just didn't have the Velstadt summon, this boss would be pretty good. I don't dislike the boss, it's just the spamming of the magic in Velstadt. Mid. C tier. Literally, right after Alana is Sin the Slumbering Dragon. Anyone that knows me and my opinions on FromSoft bosses knows that I hate big animal bosses. This is because when a boss is super big, they aren't even the boss anymore. It's the camera. This is one of the worst bosses in FromSoft history. One of the most annoying things about this fight is he is trying to take after a Discord mod and has a green stinky aura around him that breaks all of your weapons. So, if you don't have repair powder, this is pretty much impossible to kill. Apart from that, that's his gimmick, he's just a normal boss. So get nuzzled in his nutsack and make sure to watch for what he's doing so you can dodge his attacks. I would say 2 to 3 hits and then dodge out of there. I need you to pay attention when I tell you this. Please do not make the mistake of using a rapier for this fight. I know I shit on the plus 10 mace, but it is the way for this fight. You see, Sin is weak to strike damage, and when you combine this with Flynn's ring, it makes the fight so easy. For 2 hours, I wasn't even using either of these, but once I upgraded my mace to plus 10, I pretty much killed Sin within 5 tries. Instantly noticed the damage increase. Normally, I hate the mace because of its range being that of me trying to throw my piss at you, but since I'm sitting in his foreskin, the range of the mace is not a problem. After a bit of whacking and swinging, and about 3 hours later, he does go down. Sin is one of the worst bosses in this whole game. I fucking hate him. Nothing is good about him, and his stinky ass breath. F tier. Continuing down the DLC road, it's time for the Ivory King DLC. From the first bonfire, we jump down with the cat ring and pull a tactical suicide to pull the lever for the door. Then I light the bonfire, get slammed while pulling another lever, and get another bonfire. And can you believe there are more levers in this place? And not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 fucking levers in this one room. They're literally all in the same room. These bad boys aren't spread out. They're one after another. Who designed this room? Anyways, after pulling all these levers, you can get your reward. A metal rod. If you put the stick in a hole, it somehow activates an entire elevator system. If you go down said elevator, you can open a chest with a strength ring that we will use for later. But that's not nearly as cool as a sick-ass jump, though. Yes, you did see that right. That was in fact my very first try. Please put your pants back on, we have Ds2 to focus on. Now, this is not the intended way to get down, obviously, but it is quite fast and way cooler than walking down like a stupid idiot. Remember when we freed those 2 very nice gentlemen from stone captivity? Well, it's their time to shine, baby. With this bonfire aesthetic, we can go get the Crestfallen's Retreat bonfire and burn a bonfire aesthetic to reset every drop in the arena because it puts it in New Game Plus. With every item reset, we can run to this chest that contains 5 human effigy. So if you put your thinking jorts on, the guy we freed drops 2 bonfire aesthetic every time we kill him, and we get 5 human effigies per bonfire aesthetic. Basically, we can never run out of human effigy, making our depleting health every time we die no sort of problem. Once I did the elevator skip to get down to the Fume Knight, I light the bonfire so I don't have to do that again, and then I destroy all 4 statues. Statistically, the Fume Knight is the hardest boss in the game with the most amount of people dying to him, more than any other boss in the entire game, but he's not that hard to me. Here's my strategy. First thing to do, run up on him just like Elena and get some R1s in, because for some reason he's super nonchalant and just doesn't want to hit you. Second, the most important thing to know is that you do not have enough stamina to dodge through his main sword combo. So always dodge backwards. Then if he fully continues the combo, dodge through it and punish. If you see that he does a big overhead slam or his behind the back wind up, you can dodge through to get free damage. When you get far enough, he will do one of 2 things. Either a running attack with his little sword or the same thing but with a bigger sword. Now these 2 attacks are very different. They require 2 different dodging timings. Rarely does he do the big sword running attack, it's mainly the little sword, which is easier to dodge. And that's about it for his first phase. I will say his second phase is not that much different from his first, just a few added moves. There are a few differences though, like he can slam his sword down into the ground to send a ball around the arena. At SL1, you cannot roll through them, so you have to find a gap and roll into it, and you'll be fine. The last move we should talk about is where he waves his sword around, and if you don't dodge at the right time, its weird hitbox will clip you. So try and dodge into the left side to bypass the flame to get your punish. I really don't see how people die the amount of times to make him statistically the hardest boss in the game. I just don't think he's that hard. I do think he's one of the coolest bosses in the game, though. How could anyone think that he's not S tier? This boss is so perfect. There's nothing wrong with him at all. Just everything down to all of his moves, his arena, just perfect, bro. Once you do kill him, you can get a prize, another crown. Alright, DLC runtime. The first boss of this DLC is Ava the King's Pet. Before you can fight her, you have to grab the Eye of the Priestess, or else she is literally invisible. But before fighting her, I wanted to get more bright bugs, just to make the fight a little bit easier. But to my surprise, you can't farm bright bugs with bonfire aesthetics, because they're either in a metal chest that doesn't respawn, or they're locked behind a boss that you must kill before burning the bonfire aesthetic again. I swear to God, I have the worst luck in history. I recorded for like an hour or 2 hours or so, killed Ava, but when I went to quit out, my entire PC froze. I couldn't pull up Task Manager. It's never happened to me before. So I reset my PC, and of course that means my recording got corrupted. And unfortunately, you can't see me kill Ava. But she wasn't hard, I swear. Let's just pretend like you saw an awesome reaction to me killing the big albino tiger. Me saving the 3 knights for the Ivory King boss fight. If you don't know, you can find 3 knights sitting in different locations in this DLC. These knights will jump down with you in the boss fight to help you out in the first phase. Now, put your tomatoes away and don't throw them at me. I haven't broken the rules yet. It's not summoning because they aren't summons. It's, hard to explain. I'll just show you. Right before the boss, I plus 10 to Great Club that we picked up earlier in the Great Gulch. The reason people use the Great Club or any big weapon is because you can do a charged R2 and pancake them to the floor. In turn, stun locking them to the floor, making this phase much easier. And as you can see, all of the knights are gone in the second phase. Well, actually sometimes one does still live, but he has like no health and doesn't do that much damage. Now for the real fight. Right after the first phase is done, I switch to the Rapier setup, which is equipping the Cal Helm, switching out of the Gowry's Ring for the Flynn's Ring, and the Strength Ring for the Chloranthy Ring. In my opinion, this is a pretty easy boss, just a little bit hard to time the dodges to not get hit by his BBL-sized hitboxes. A very important fact for this is the Ivory King is left-handed. Because of this, you should always dodge to the left side. If you dodge left, most of his attacks are way easier to dodge and will miss you. After every attack, he will often jump backwards into another attack. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm praying that he does any one of his big one-hit moves that are easy to dodge, but leave him open for a while so you can slap him a few times. To be honest, I think that's it. Not much to this fight since it's not very hard. Basically, the whole time, I'm just running away, baiting out one big attack. Running away, baiting, and then getting hits in. The real last boss of this game is also S tier. There's just nothing bad with it. The arena's nice. The Ivory King actually has good moves. Just not bad. First phase is alright. S tier. When you do finally get the Victory Royale, you can get a new hat. And for anyone curious, this is the build and the stats I used for this fight. With the Ivory King dead, it now means we have killed every main boss in all 3 DLCs. So I didn't know where to go next, and I wanted to kill every boss in the game, so I thought now was a good time to go through the hassle of getting all the giant souls for Vendrick. Like I said, I've only beat this game once. In my first playthrough, I didn't kill Vendrick, but I did know you had to get all 5 giant souls. But I thought you had to use them like Bloodborne with the umbilical cords. But yeah, that's not how it works. So I got all 5, used them, and couldn't fight Vendrick. For anyone that doesn't know, the more giant souls you have in your inventory, the easier Vendrick is. And to activate the boss, you have to just hit him until a certain percentage. Then you will have enough of you tickling his legs and he will fight you. But since I have no giant souls, because I am in fact very smart and use them, Vendrick's defenses are through the roof. If you needed a reason to make this worse, because I can't kill Vendrick, I can't grab his crown to get the reinforced crown. This is a huge item in the game, and it solely stops hollowing. And everyone that played this game knows hollowing is the most annoying part of this game, or at least one of. So that completely ruins Vendrick off of our list. Is it physically possible? I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here for 30 minutes whacking his shit. The next reasonable thing I thought of was to fight Sir Lone. So I went up to the elevator, realized I forgot the key, went all the way back down, grabbed the key, and got the bonfire. Now, in my opinion, this is the worst run back in all of FromSoft. It is so bad. I took the 3 hours it took to kill every enemy in here 12 times. You see, for some reason, Dark Souls 2 devs didn't want to actually create a good level, so they just made every run back terrible. But if you kill an enemy 12 times, they despawn. So, if any run back is bad in this game, which there are a lot of, just kill the enemies 12 times, and they will never respawn, making the run back very easy. Sir Alone. I think that this is the hardest boss in the game. He took me like 8 hours and the most amount of time and deaths to beat. Not the longest time I've spent on a boss, but it's definitely up there. This whole time I literally could not get these dodges correct. He just kept hitting me with that dump truck ass hitbox. To minimize the amount of times I was getting hit, I dodged super late into the right side of him. The real boss of this fight now is the grab. I can't even remember the amount of times I got hit by this and killed me solely off of this move. I know grab moves are known for being terrible in SL1, especially in this game, but this move has such a dog shit hitbox. I am literally behind him and he hits me. To combat this, roll so late you are about to get hit by the move. I dodged unbelievably late and is the only way I could get around it. Sir Alon is the best fight in the entire game. It's just perfect. Everything about it is perfect except the run back. I don't count the run back as the boss actual ranking, but without the run back, this is one of the best bosses in FromSoft history. This took way longer than it should have, but I can go to the last boss now if I really wanted to. But let's clean up a little. Old Dragon Slayer, Smelter Demon, Royal Rat Authority, and the Executioner's Chariot. I'm gonna go real quick for this because this video is already long. I'm over-prepared for all 4 of these fights, so they aren't anything to talk about. Even if you fight them right when you're supposed to, they are not hard at all. The only one I had a little bit of trouble on could be Smelter Demon with his passive damage, but even then it's not hard. Now with most of the bosses dead that we can do, we have 3 remaining. My least favorite boss in all of the game is up now. The Throne Watcher and Defender. They are like the Foreskin duo in Elden Ring, but 10 times worse. For some reason, they're both super aggressive, and they both aggressively circle jerk you until you are dead. So, the Gower's Ring comes into play here. So while you're hitting one of them and get hit in the back, it won't do nearly as much damage. The Gower's Ring makes this fight actually manageable and not pure agonizing torture. Just run in there, get hits in, tank the hits with Gower's Ring, and for a more safer method, you could cheese the Throne Watcher by pushing her off the map, but it's a bit hard to pull off, and it's not like the boss is hard, just annoying. The final boss of the game, Nashandra. Since I don't have the Super Crown, Curse is a bit harder to deal with since it limits my max health. The curse gets released from these ball things, so just hit them and they disappear. And that gets the curse problem out of the way. Just sit in Nashandra's goopy leg things here, and she will keep swinging over and over again. And you can just keep getting R1s. In this winning take, you can see that she just does the same move over and over again. I don't know if I did this because it's scripted or it just fucked up, but shit, I'll take it. And because of this, I killed her on my 2nd try. Like I said, not a hard boss. If I said this is the worst boss in FromSoft history, would I have to really explain myself? Does anyone actually like this boss? Nashandra has nothing really good, but nothing really bad. Pretty mid. Nothing about her is just... she's really forgettable, especially for the last boss of the game. Needed to be better. This run took me way longer than I thought. 30 hours to be exact. But I thank you for watching, and expect another challenge run coming soon. And for anyone curious, these are the stats to prove it.